channel. I'm Rachel, the owner and creator here at the Eclectic Cottage in Spokane, Washington. Today is Saturday, and for today I have a thrift flip for you. And as much as I had planned on having something Christmas for you guys today, I have been really struggling creatively lately. I think it has a lot to do with kind of the chaos that's going on for my husband and I trying to get our house all ready to go on the market. We're painting, there's stuff everywhere. It's just kind of taken its toll. And also the fact that it was like 96 degrees last week or most of this week, and I just really wasn't feeling Christmas at all. And I didn't want to go back into fall. I've done so many things for fall, kind of over it at this point. So I decided to just do something for the fun of creating. So I pulled a couple things out of my stash. I made them over using some beautiful decoupage paper. I just had a little fun. I hope you guys like what I came up with. I love how they turned out. And without further ado, let's get to today's projects. So for today, I ended up pulling out these two wood rounds that I've had in my stash for quite some time. These I picked up at an estate sale for $1 each, and I knew I wanted to do something with them. And my original plan was to use them for risers or tabletops on top of a candle holder, something like that. But they were both kind of warped, and so I had just left them sitting in my stash. I realized I was going to need to use them as wall art, and I just never really came up with a good idea for them. So I pulled them out for today, and I went ahead and sanded them really well to get rid of some of that rich color so I didn't have to use so much paint to go over it. And then I brought them back inside and gave them a little bit of a bath just to get rid of all that sanding dust. And I did remove the hanger from the one that had a hanger on it. When I was done with that, I realized that the outside edge of this one in particular had some peeling sealer on it, so it looked like somebody had used some sort of sealer that was starting to age and peel off. So I ended up having to take it outside and sand it, brought it back in, wiped them both back down again really quick, and then I decided to start by painting the back of these. Now at this point I'd already chosen the decoupage paper I was going to be using on the front, so I am painting the backs of these to coordinate, and this color is Bohemian Blue by DIY. It's definitely become one of my go-to blues. I absolutely love it. It is very highly pigmented, and the great thing about these paints are that they are clay based. You can absolutely paint anything inside, no VOCs, and they are very thick and again highly pigmented. I did go over these with 2 coats of the Bohemian Blue just to make sure I had great coverage, and once that was done, it was time to tackle the fronts of these. For that, I decided, since I'm going to be putting decoupage paper over the fronts, I definitely wanted a very light neutral color. So I grabbed this white linen, which is one of the Cottage colors by DIY. It has a built-in sealer, which is awesome. And the great thing about that is when I go to put my decoupage paper over it, and I'm using the medium, I won't reactivate this paint and accidentally have any of it leach up into my decoupage paper. I ended up giving these 3 good coats of the white linen just so that I didn't have any shadows underneath my decoupage paper, and then I set them aside to dry. Now I had gone through a lot of my papers and some of my transfers trying to figure out what I wanted to put on the front of these, and this is the paper I ended up landing on. This beautiful paper is called Sapphire Wings. It is by Redesign with Prima. It comes in a 3-pack with 3 coordinating papers, and I absolutely love the colors in it. So I cut out the piece that I needed, and then I'm using my steamer here to get rid of the wrinkles in the paper. Anytime you use one of the more fibrous papers by Redesign with Prima, you definitely want to iron or steam it so that you get rid of those wrinkles before you lay it down. Once I had all of my wrinkles successfully removed, I went ahead and laid my paper down where I wanted it. I grabbed my clear liquid patina by DIY and I put a coat of that at the top of this round. I'm going to be applying this paper in sections, and so I'm just giving the top portion of this wood round a really good coat of that liquid patina. Then I'm laying my paper down over it and smoothing it out. And then I'm pulling up the bottom portion of the paper so that I can do another section with the liquid patina. And then I'm just going to follow that all the way down until I've got the entire round covered. Once I have my paper completely adhered down to my piece, I am coating it with another good coat of the liquid patina, just making sure to get all the way out to the edges so that I don't have any lifting on this paper when it's dry. Once I'm finished applying my paper to my first round, I moved on to my second and grabbed this other piece of paper that I really loved, and again just cut it to the size that I needed and steamed it out really well, and then did the same technique using the liquid patina to apply it to the front of my round. Once my decoupage medium was completely dry, it was time to sand off the excess paper. This is a very easy process. You just really need to make sure that your medium is dry before you start. And I use just 150 grit sandpaper and in a downward sweeping motion, just carefully sand that excess paper right off. Now I didn't want any of the white showing through, so I did end up grabbing a small artist brush and the Bohemian blue, and I just went around and very carefully painted up to the edge of the paper to get rid of that little white line. Now the second round was just a little more tricky because it has this little divot and then an outer edge, and I just wanted to have the paper go up to the divot part and not all the way out to the outer edge. So I had to cut a little hole and then carefully hold my sandpaper and just sand with the corner of it very carefully around the edge. This was definitely a little more time consuming than the other one, but I really wanted this to have kind of a frame around it of the Bohemian blue. So that is why I'm going to all the trouble to do it this way. Once I had finally successfully removed all of the excess paper, I grabbed out another little brush and my Bohemian blue, and I went in and very carefully painted that little divot and the rim of this round. Lastly, it's time to seal my paint. Now, since DIY paint is clay-based, it is porous and can be reactivated with water, so you always want to seal it. And my go-to sealer for the DIY paint is wax. And so I am going over the back of both of these rounds with one good coat of DIY's clear wax to seal it. You can see how it really deepens that paint, but when it dries, it'll dry a little bit closer to the original color, kind of somewhere in between the two, I guess. Then I'm just going to wipe off any excess with a dry shop towel. Once I'm done with the backs, I'm going to flip these over and I am going to do the same thing to the front side. I know I'd already sealed these with liquid patina, but I find that with these more fibrous papers, if you go over them with a coat of wax, it really kind of helps lay the fibers down and makes them feel a lot softer. So I just go over them each with a coat of the clear wax, and again, just wipe back any excess with a shop towel. Lastly, I just needed to do the ring around the darker blue round. I saved that for last because I didn't want to accidentally pick up any of that blue pigment and transfer it to one of my beautiful new decoupage papers. Then it was on to some dark wax. I wanted to add just a little bit of age and patina to these. So for this one, I'm starting by using an artist brush to add a little bit of dark wax into that little divot that runs along the outside edge of this. And I'm just kind of wiping it onto the edge as well. And then I'm going to use a shop towel to wipe back any excess. Then to add just a little bit of a shadow around the outside edge of these rounds, I took some mineral spirits and I mixed it in with a little bit of dark wax to create kind of a glaze. So working in sections, I would just paint a little bit of that glaze over the edge of my piece, and then in a swirly motion with my brush, just kind of drag a little bit of it up into the paper. I wanted about an inch, inch and a half of a shadow around the edges of these, just to add a little bit more interest and some age and patina. I think this was a perfect finishing touch to these. I think they came out really, really great. I'm so glad I got over my creative block for now, and I hope you guys like them as much as I do. Today, you guys. I hope you liked my Sapphire Wings wood rounds. I sure enjoyed getting outside of the box and not having to create something for a specific season and just have a little bit of fun making something pretty. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and then just hit that little notification bell so you don't miss anything. And then don't forget to drop a comment below and let me know what you thought of my projects for today. Just a quick reminder, the paint and products you saw me use today can be purchased through my website, and that's www.theeclecticcottagespokane.com. It's listed below in the description box. I carry the full line of DIY paint and products, as well as Sweet Pickins milk paint and products, some Recycled Treasures decoupage paper, and of course, Redesign with Prima products. And I do have 2 packs of that Sapphire Wings paper in my shop right now. So if you'd like it, go nab it. Anyway, for, let's see, Wednesday's projects, probably going to be another thrift flip. I'm going to grab some more things out of my stash. I can't promise that they will be Christmas or fall, but they should be fun at any rate. And I hope you'll join me for that. And until then, you guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And the beginning of the next week is great for you. And I will see you back here on Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.